Boop, ba, 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 dee, ba, ba. Oh, it's Karandrin role playing. Ba, ba, ba. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Kevin Manus Penning, also known as Crack Palantir, and this is Karandrin role playing, episode 63 of Brise's Tale. The playing story with scat in it. I will say that hands down. As always, my buddy Max is here to play the female paladin Brise, and say hello to the lovely people.
Well, hello everybody. I don't know about you, but I'd rather just listen to Kevin Scat all night.
I think that's a fair assessment.
As we do an April Fool's. The April Fool's episode is just
Oh man, that's mean.
like that, and just loop it like over and over.
That would be hilarious. That's right. 9 hours of scat. It's like
Not
what
enough.
you call it?
That's what it is.
What's the the Gandalf sax, the sax Gandalf, where he's
Yes.
God, I could listen to that all day. It's just so much fun. Speaking of, they're soon to launch that Rings of Power series on Amazon, the Tolkien series. So
Rings of Power Hour.
that's
It'll rival the viewership of Karandrin, I'm sure.
yeah.
Competing for that.
Yes, we may
competing
lose.
with us for those numbers.
I know we
your fantasy fill.
and they have a similar production budget. So that's the big deal there. We're gonna we have double their budget, and so and of course
0 times anything is still 0.
Exactly. And we're always getting out Karandrin points, and of course 1,000 Karandrin points, and we can get Amazon's our sponsor.
Jeff Bezos to sponsor us. I know he doesn't work at Amazon anymore, but I'm sure he still has a lot of sway there.
Exactly, and he certainly has a lot of bucks, and so oh, I mistyped in the chat. I hate that. Well, anyway, episode 63. So we're back to doing more traditional exploring and so on. You had finally finished up the central manor in this large estate that had been abandoned many years ago. There is you had then cut across the western yard of the estate, made your way to the woods. This estate has the northern part of this estate has 3 large guest manors in a row at the edge of this shoulder of the mountain, overlooking the valley to the north, where we believe an entity called the Iron Empress may hold some significant sway. Let's see if I have a caption for the Iron Empress. I recall having one. But there we go. So you had finished the main manor. There's 3 other manors to the north. There may be other buildings on the estate around the shoulder of the mountain that we haven't encountered. And of course, downslope and so on. Where the slope is gentle, of course, they're going to make use of that property and claim that property. And as we know that the 3 manors to the north, several hundred yards to the north, we know that behind each of them is a construct, some sort of bronze or brass construct with in the form of a female warrior. We know this is some leftover from the original builders of the estate, an ancient human empire. And the thing is, how to possibly take out one without taking on all 3 at one time, because they're certainly within sight of one another, or whether just to skip the 3 mansions altogether. Milani,
come back at a higher level.
That's, I mean, that's one of the
Yeah.
things about this game. You can absolutely do that.
Right.
You
I'm
can,
sure no one else will stumble across this in the next like several months.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty unlikely. Although you certainly made it safer for things like refugees or the poor.
Right. True.
And also one of the one of the hazards of your profession is that abandoned ruins. I don't call them dungeons. Ruins are also great hideouts for thieves and murderers, people who
Right.
are trying to escape the law. But that's neither here nor there, really. There's nothing you can do about that any more than you can do, prevent, giant spiders or other fantasy creatures from taking habitation up in these ruins. But you had crept through the forest trying to get a better vantage point on the westernmost of the mansions. And you had sent your familiar, a young female falcon. You had sent her forward for you to spy out the territory behind the mansions.
Right.
And whereupon she saw a purple haze, a dark purple haze, almost like a smoke, but like heavier. It won't continue to rise.
Viscous.
Um, yeah. And so you are hidden in the woods. Um, you are probably 100 yards, 150 yards from the it would be the southwest corner of the westernmost mansion.
Right.
And Nalani is staying hidden both from the constructs and from. We know that there is some form of flying serpent about.
Right.
And we don't want Nalani to just get snacked on by this creature. We know that it has a nest on the
easternmost building.
The easternmost building.
Yeah.
So sort of like a small, like flying Chinese dragon sort of creature, we think, by the description. So
what I'd like to do is investigate that haze. I would, I guess, need to circle around all three of the houses then. Is there like cover on the northern side as well? And I guess, can I go down? What's the best path to get there?
To get to where? To which?
To investigate the haze. I'm curious what that is.
You would probably have to continue to cut. So right now you've sort of gone straight, sort of parallel to this long rectangular central manor, right?
Right.
And you've sort of worked your way over here and gone up the up the side of it, parallel to it in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You've sort of reached the edge of those woods, and sort of what seems to be just a highly overgrown yard that's really large now swings around the edge of the mountain. You can see the shoulder of the mountain.
Okay.
To investigate the haze, you would need to probably continue to hug the shoulder to get some distance from the mansions.
Right.
Then you might need to crawl your way through the grass and then begin working your way down slope.
Right, is to stay out of sight.
Yeah. Now you've got a good 400, 500 feet, so, the length of a football field, including end zones and maybe up into the stands, right? I mean, a good distance of some grass and shrub. Grass is about hip high to you. So the shrub here and there is somewhat higher, chest high to you.
Well, Kevin, that sounds like a lot of work. So is there something, we brought this up before, maybe, is it possible to teleport through what Nalani sees? So I could just teleport onto the slope, a good maybe like 200 yards from the haze.
Roll from me. Roll for me. Roll from me.
Roll from you. 92 is what I rolled from you.
You do feel that your relationship, since this is a new familiar, right? Your relationship is growing. You feel like it's reached a point where you can trust that the spell will work with her perceptions.
Okay.
if you're seeing with her. The problem is she is seeing from very high up.
True.
So you would need to send her down to a location on the ground,
I see,
which
and I would
is
teleport where
perfectly,
she is. Yeah.
yeah, so that's perfectly doable. Um,
Okay.
and
Yeah, let's try that then. So I'll, she spots the haze. She looks at it a little while. She'll just circle down to the ground on a gentle part of the slope.
yeah, so she launches up first to give distance to the constructs. We know the constructs have inbuilt missile weapons in their
That's
arms.
right.
We
Yeah.
don't want her shot down, although there's no real reason for them to perceive a bird as a threat.
Right. And one other thing, were the constructs standing at the front of the houses or the back? I can't recall. They were standing right with their swords kind of
They
pointed.
are, yeah, they're on the edge of the shoulder, about halfway between the edge of the shoulder and the back of the house. The
Okay.
front of your houses face the roughly face the interior of the estate. The back
Right.
of the houses face the
The slope of the mountain. Yeah.
the downslope, the valley.
Right.
And so, and I should tell you that it's not going to surprise you that there's going to be really big windows in the back. Should that ultimately become a planning point for you, because the occupants were given that view, right, as a
Right.
gesture of respect and so on, right? It's a luxurious view.
Except for the middle guest house where you keep all the, guests you don't like.
That's right.
I've joked about that before, but I think it's really funny to have.
That's right. You don't want them underfoot.
This house has no windows and no doors. There you go.
Right. It just has a chute at the very top where you drop gas.
And the fire's lit.
Oh, is the flooring carpet? Is it tile? What is the flooring? Oh, spikes. It's all spikes.
It's all
You just drop guests down. You can check in, but you can check out, but you can never leave. So she goes down. You're sort of concentrating on her. You urge her to, take cover during her flight as much as possible, so as not to be hunted by the creature on the roof. She does a twirl and she does a spiral and to check her 6. Really, that nest is still empty.
Okay.
Which is simultaneously good and bad. It means she's not near. Well, she's not apparently near. The creature's not near, but also not visible. Yes. So she dives into the trees, then takes lights on a branch, gets her bearings. Pauses when she notices and apparently smells blood.
Getting interesting.
A considerable distance from her down slope, but off to the side of where the haze is coming from, there's a good deal of blood. Would you like her to proceed to find you a place? Do you want to teleport to the blood?
Sorry, I kind of missed that. Where is the blood?
The blood is is directly across from where the haze is, but by a couple of 100 yards. She's looking at it from at least about 50 yards away through trees and so on. There's not a lot of ground brush here because of there's some light grasses and so on, but there's some significant rockiness here.
Yeah,
there's also
she can find a spot away from pool of blood, maybe somewhere.
She can totally keep moving. She landed there to get her initial bearings.
Gotcha.
So you can send her wherever you want.
I'd send her another, 100 feet away from the blood and from the haze.
Well, you could teleport to her location, and that would fit both bills.
Oh, I see. So she sees it right from where she's standing.
Okay. Yes, and it's about 50 yards away.
Okay.
There's also clear evidence here of terraced pathways. Clearly, this was either riding grounds, or this was, a walking garden, trails, that sort of thing for guests. Um, it's clearly part of the manor. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Let's try a teleport there then.
all right. Oh, we have to remember too, your adder has been damaged,
Well,
right?
that's okay. I unattuned to that and attuned to the large water skin, which is a +3
Right,
act.
but we just need to remember, you need to remember to check on it.
I have it written down here. Yeah.
Okay.
That I'm unattuned to the helm. What
No,
were
I'm
we
talking
going
about
to say? Check on it as in.
the damage, because it may, there are stories of enchantments mending themselves.
Doing what to themselves?
Mending.
Mending. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Uh,
I'll put a reminder to kind of check it probably each, couple times maybe throughout the day. I'm still wearing it though, so it just says armor, right? But just
Sure.
yeah.
So
I came up with the USB. Nice one, Quinn.
yeah,
Unconventional soulless bodyguards.
right. The definition for a
Unusual
construct.
Or maybe unyielding soulless bodyguards.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so we're trying to teleport.
Yes,
They are unsuitable sex buddies.
that's right.
Okay. 62 to teleport.
So you cast the spell, now to aim. Take off 10 exhaustion.
98 to aim.
Boom, you're there.
Beautiful.
Nolani is startled. She is not used to your sudden appearances yet. She is, as you know.
She thought I was going to fail the spell, so that's why.
That's it. She's just shocked. She just,
wow.
She just, she's just shocked it worked. I think is really the issue. Wow, teleported without fumbling. You get your bearings. Clearly, must be a walking path that's actually paved with paving stones. The workmanship is so tight that there's just very little vegetation growing between the stones.
Quinn just came up with a definition for furries, which I like.
Unusually sexy beasts. This is all going on in our chat. We're just making sex jokes about the constructs and furries. I don't know why we're doing that.
And all the cars. Did someone mention me?
That's right.
Did you summon me? Where does the path kind of lead up? And I guess one probably goes back up towards the inner.
It's running parallel to the line of the uphill slope. It'll probably, your guess is it'll probably be a switchback, but it might be very meandering.
Right.
Oh no, Obi-Wan is upset that the
PG-13.
Yeah, that the chat is turned R-rated or beyond. F-rated for furry, I don't know, but we are all deeply concerned is really the issue.
Extremely.
Exactly. So you're there. Let's talk about what's in your hands. State of readiness.
Yeah. Well, before I had my just spear two-handed. Actually, no. I think I had just my shield.
It doesn't matter. You can adjust it. So tell me what you're. Tell me
We're
what
gonna have my spear and shield out. Because I don't really be too sneaky. And then I'll take stock of my surroundings here.
Roll for me.
62.
From your perspective, you can't see where the blood is. Roll for me again.
7.
You can't really smell it either. Roll for me again. Sorry, I'm putting on lotion. My hands are driving me crazy.
97.
Oh, wow. You do hear a really strange cracking coming from the direction of the haze. Cracking, popping. Doesn't sound like
Fire burning almost, but like not fire.
no, not one that you, not a sound you can place. Well, actually, let's have you roll. Let's see.
72.
A shudder runs through you. Your worry is that is you realize that is the sound of very large bones breaking.
Ooh, weird.
Definitely coming from the direction of the haze.
Oh, something like eating something else. Okay, let's try to creep toward the direction of the blood. Maybe go a little uphill so I can kind of get a better vantage of it. And see what
It's
has.
just too much. I mean, it's just too much. You know, as trees have grown, right?
Right.
Going uphill is not going to be very helpful. You're going to be peering
Yeah.
down on top of the trees. You're going to have to get a lot closer, but that is
Okay.
going away from the sound.
Right. Well, let's find out what the blood is first, because if it's something big, I may want to avoid the sound.
No, I was telling you that as a good thing.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, not in any way to criticize your choices.
My lack of bravery.
That's right.
Let's just sneak towards the direction of blood is.
All right, roll to sneak.
31.
You know you've made some noise. What do you want Nolani to do?
Just follow me on my shoulder.
Okay.
I might need her to attack something if it leaps
Yeah.
out at me.
To distract.
Mm-hmm. Just a mouse comes out of the bushes. Ah, Melody, go.
Exactly. Eat it.
Please.
So you make it to within about, as soon as you can see it, right, is when you stop. This is definitively a pool of, not pool of blood, it's just blood thrown on trees. There's a lot of blood on the ground here and there, and it drags. You can see drag marks with blood pooling in them over going toward the dark haze.
Right.
There are claw marks on the trees. They're twice the span of your hand. I'm not going to do that. There you go. Just immediately, just a connection is made in your mind that that suggests to you ogre. Just remembering facing those ogres. Ogres they really don't have really pronounced claws. In fact, they're really just thick fingernails like we have, whereas trolls have proper claws. This doesn't seem to be the terrible thing is this doesn't seem to be a missed attack in which the ogre's hand struck a tree.
Right.
Rather, the claw marks are on both sides of the tree,
Oof.
and it was drug away.
That is unfortunate. Well, um, we can send Nalani, I think, down to the haze instead of me to get a closer look at maybe whatever creatures there won't mind a little falcon.
So,
Get
you
away
just go on
fast.
a hopping journey, right?
Right.
You just tell her, you go to that next tree, go to that next tree, and you keep her going. Uh, the blood sort of peters out, but the trail doesn't.
And I should probably like behind a tree, in case whatever it is catches Nalani's attention, they won't see me in the distance too.
Sure. Oh, I mean, the distance she's having to travel and with the foliage there is, it's very
Okay.
unlikely given the distances. Now,
Okay,
of
good.
course, that assumes there's one, right? I mean, you can always take coverage because you can't know what's around,
Right.
right? I will say that as you stop and listen, there is no sound of movement from any other direction.
Okay.
There's just definitively the cracking of bones. Um, Roll for me.
50. Checking my spells here if there's anything I should be keeping prepared.
Something about the width of the drag marks is confusing. You're like, ogres are not that big. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
ogres would be twice me across. Yes. I mean, shoulder to shoulder, they'd be that big, a little bit more. Um, um, but, there's nothing to do but to, continue to follow if you want answers.
Yep. I do want answers. And by gosh, our audience wants answers too.
That's right. Um, so, um,
I'll just keep hopping towards and kind of keep
right.
attuning
She
to her vision to
jumps
see
sort of 50 foot at a time.
if
Um,
she hears a change in like the sound or anything. Then
right. Um, you, you and she both just sort of recoil when she emerges upon the source of the noise. It is a shaggy headed, hulked, hunched over figure. Um, this dark purple, blackish purple mist just sort of swirls around it and then rises to the air, but never does it thin. It has this shaggy mane of white hair. It is dressed only in a loincloth. Its skin is black. Its hair is white and goes down its neck and then forms sort of like a horse's mane down its spine. This black skin with this white hair going down its spine and stopping just above the beginning of the loincloth. It is definitively eating an ogre's leg.
Oh my gosh.
It is larger than the description you've heard of trolls and any trolls you've seen. There is another ogre, dead, skewered by a spear, waiting its turn to be eaten. The white hair falls over its eyes. The creature appears undamaged from its conflict with two ogres. It has chains wrapped around its forearms.
Oh, good.
And um, you're seeing it from the side. Nalani is clearly very uneasy around the creature. You can feel her emotional state radiating across your connection. You're about 100 yards away. You calculate.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, and she's about 60, 70 feet away.
Does this creature remind me of anything I've ever heard of or seen? I guess, like you said, bigger than a troll. I haven't heard of much besides giants bigger than that.
It not rings a bell exactly. There was an expression you heard in a story about a maned stalker. And this certainly, I mean, you just want to call it that. You know what I mean? You don't have any
Yeah.
evidence that it is that, but that is that's the only little grasping sense you have of it.
Yeah. Oh, it wants to correct maned to manly. The manly stalker.
You know, my brother-in-law is Russell, and whenever I text his name, even a person about whom I've texted many times, right? In jest, making plans, all this kind of stuff, right? Doesn't matter how many times I've used his name. My autocorrect insists that what I mean to say is Russian. And I'm like, yeah, I've texted about Russian. It's been in the news, da 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 da, but nowhere near the number of times I've texted about Russell. But apparently, we don't
This
care.
is why the robot should take over.
This is it. This is exactly it.
Uh,
Um,
right. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna let Milani have to endanger herself staying there. I'll have her, hop back. I think she could just do before she just do a quick scan. Anything else like in the clearing, that might be around it
um,
of note.
the ogre that it's eating. I mean, the ogre that it's eating. He's basically ripped it in half, and he's eating the last leg of it, and the top half lays on the ground.
Oh my
And of course,
gosh.
there's just entrails everywhere and so on. Amongst those items, amongst that goo is the coarse hide bags that you've noticed that the ogres tend to use.
Right.
Um, ogres are basically sort of lumpish, large humans. A
Yeah.
large ogre is about 10 feet. Um, this seems to be a young ogre. Seems to be a pair of young ogres. Um, the other one too still has goods on it. Um, their weapons are still in their belt. They didn't even have a time to draw their weapons.
Jesus.
Um, yeah, that seems to be. I mean, that's sort of the most information you see there. What would you
Okay.
like to do?
One other thing, you said the chains are wrapped around its forearms. They're just chains. Are they broken off? Does it look like, or just almost worn for
It's hard to tell.
decoration?
It's hard to tell how they're affixed.
Yeah.
Um, but you can see it, as it lifts the leg to eat or whatever. You can see it on the far arm as well.
Mm.
Um, the chains are heavy black metal, although there are flecks of red in it, which is not a metal you're used to.
Mm.
Yeah. What now?
I think it's time to hastily retreat.
Hazily retreat.
Hazily retreat. Um, wow. It's really funny that you think about like what's the word? So, subtlety and stealth, especially in Karandrin, and a lot of these creatures are kind of like designed for that. But then this thing, it's just like makes itself known because who cares? Like, who's gonna mess with it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just like really,
It
you can
looks like,
spot it from anywhere and no one cares because it's kind of.
well, yeah, it does suggest. So, yeah, it sort of raises several questions. Like, one, I mean, does it what? Does it climb a tree and just wait and just drop on you like thunder?
Right.
And, that's how it hunts. Oh, look, Quinn thinks you can attack this
Well, no,
creature.
he thinks I can take it. I definitely will take something from the creature, but it
A
will be a lot of
lesson
damage.
yeah, you'll take something. You take a lesson in discretion. That's what you'll take.
I'll take 5 criticals.
That's
That's what
right.
I'll take. Oh my god.
So yeah, she takes flight.
Start hopping back. Yeah.
It actually turns and watches her go. Its eyes are a milky white amid its black skin. And it just watches, it just takes note of her and turns back. It's just covered in blood, the front of it. No table manners whatsoever.
Doesn't even have a table.
Probably ate it. Let's be honest.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, you know what that is? I'm gonna return back, and why don't we follow this paved path then? Possibly back up the slope. The direction I think that's upward.
Well, what you mean is just follow it, right?
Right, follow. But I mean, right, I guess either way could be upward. Yeah, I'll just follow it and see where.
Right. I mean, if it's a switchback, it's going to go either up or down. They're going to, and if it's not, then it's going to go wherever it's going to go.
Right. So follow it.
I guess you should have. I guess we should have considered that you might have wanted to return to your spot in the woods, and maybe should have memorized a point.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But I was thinking Nalani can always just again fly.
Right. Use her as a spotter.
Right. So we'll just walk up the path.
You know what? Before you go, Nalani returns. Is there a reason to risk having her examine whether the ogres had any marks of the Iron Empress on them?
I don't think so, because what would it really gain by doing that?
Well, it would just show you the extent of her spread.
Right.
Evidence of that, but obviously it's a huge risk.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a risk it is. It's hard to say. The creature saw her and didn't care.
No, I think it's all right. I mean, I know I've seen it on other ogres before,
right,
and on the giants. So,
I mean, it would be significant if you found it on every ogre you find. It would also be significant if you don't. But again, may not be the time to research that question.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll come across more ogres.
You're hoping,
more
right?
Ogre corpses.
We know, more importantly, we know that Quinn hopes you come across more ogres.
Yes, an army of
and more ogre eaters. And possibly eaters of ogre eaters. I think we know.
Just even larger.
Have you heard about Ogre Eaters Anonymous? Anyway. Right. So you continue along the path. It begins working its way up slope.
That is just another tangent. I love that because the reason we don't have ginormous carnivores and stuff like all those chains because you lose so much energy every time you eat something. So it's usually only 3 or 4 levels. But in fantasy, you could have a fantasy food chain. It's 20 things tall. Yeah,
that's right. And this city size thing eats this town-sized thing, and this town-sized thing eats this village-sized thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's been I mean, my dad was a biology teacher and just generally interested in science. And he was talking to me like in the 90s that we've noticed a general downward trend in large land mammals.
right.
And not all the reasons, at least at that time, not all the reasons for that were understood. I mean, obviously, habitat loss and some of that is going to contribute to it. But as I recall, he was saying that even in areas where habitat is not threatened, we were seeing declines that we couldn't explain.
Yeah.
But maybe they've solved that, and I just need to do follow-up research.
So yeah, we're walking up the path, creeping along.
So not much need to creep. You can move at a decent pace. It's really just avoiding the driest of the leaves and things
Right.
like that. You can see why this spot was chosen. I mean, you're now directly downhill from. You feel like you've got to be directly downhill from the easternmost manor, and you're beginning to round the corner of this shoulder such that you'll be facing. Let me think about that. So you're heading east basically, and now you're beginning to turn south, almost as though you're pointed back toward Ballabry and that area. And the area you'd be now facing where where you fought the construct. I mean, it's several hundred yards away, you figure. But where the statues are of the ancient human race's gods, the three bird gods, and the Iron Empress herself.
So by that measure, it feels like I'm going away from the manor, right? If I'm heading.
You're sort of you're on the corner, a shoulder that's sort of a rough corner.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
And so now you've gone across the back of the three mansions, the north of the estate, and now you're heading south.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And so this wouldn't surprise you if this all connects up and you have, and you have other statues, other obelisks, that sort of thing. It occurs to you as you round this corner, it might be time to have Nalani do some scouting to find out, what was that fourth construct, that sort of free floating construct.
Yeah.
What, she came from this direction. It came from this direction.
Right.
The she-shaped it came from this direction. And therefore, you ought to be more cautious.
Sure.
It's probably set to patrol on the walkways to prevent it getting snared in woods and things like that. So you might need to be more cautious and have Nalani, that last fight didn't go terribly, but it didn't go well.
Yeah. Okay. I have a spell here that could be useful, but maybe not that useful. I'm just curious about detect ambush. I'm assuming that is someone poised, like already knows I'm there and is poised to attack, not
roll for me.
Something hostile in the area. 98.
The tome, that's the difference between a tome and a scroll. The tome provides explanatory text to teach you.
Oh, right.
The tome, is this when you haven't a tome? We've already learned
Nature's Law. I have not learned this.
Okay, so you recall from
this is Eyes of the Spirit.
Eyes of the Spirit, which is still a tome, though, right? Still in the tome. You recall from what training you've done on that spell that basically it's one of the few spells in temple magic that borrowed heavily from mentalism, from the magic of the mind.
Yeah.
What it looks for is intent
I see.
against you. And so your question is, um, do these things have intent?
True.
But what do you care if it prevents you from being ambushed?
Okay. Now the only downside is it's 9-foot radius plus 1 foot of level. So that would cast a level 10 from the tome would only be 19-foot radius. I guess that's 20 feet across. Not a huge area, It's I guess a campsite, small campsite.
Right. So the purpose of that would be to cast it on likely ambush points.
True. True. Or maybe on other people around you that might be about to turn on you.
Well, that's true.
If you want to cast it on yourself, yeah. Okay, well, keep that in mind, but I think
Sure.
best to send Alani out to scout a wider area. So we'll do that. I'll crouch down, have her kind of scout ahead the path and circle the area, spot any creatures.
Wow. Found the construct
Oh gosh.
right off. I mean, I rolled 180 or something. I mean, it was
Wow.
really a big roll. Marching on this path very slowly, just walking. Weapon is not drawn. You can see the marks that you left on it from the battle. But it's heading in the same direction as you are. So,
Right. Interesting. Okay. So I think I'm out of earshot, of the other constructs, that would be up on the further up, on the surface of the bluff
I
there.
mean, you would think so. I mean,
Yeah. So I could feel like I could try to take this thing out, especially if I already did damage to it.
right. You
Or
could, yeah.
knock
I mean,
it off the cliff, send it tumbling down the slope.
right. There's not really much of a cliff,
Right, but
but
tumbling.
right. I mean, the ability to single one out and take it out is excellent.
Yeah.
Because they are so. I mean, you were able to weather its blows pretty good, but man, it was hard to hurt.
Right.
You hammered away at this thing, and they are particularly strong, which is of no surprise.
I would always have call lightning if I need to go all out. But I'm thinking of positioning myself and then, hiding and then, doing a channeling attack at it to just blow this thing away, maybe.
Well, do you want to teleport? Do you want to, I mean, how are you going to do this?
So Nalani sees it coming towards me. Does it? So I guess based on how far it is away, and I look at the spot right above me, does it look like there's a tree or something I could hide behind?
There's plenty of brush and trees available behind and in front of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Upslope and
We're
down.
gonna position myself behind some brush and wait for it to come.
But are you? No, but it's heading in the same direction as you are. So
Oh, I thought you said it's heading toward. Sorry.
No.
When you said same direction, I should have realized. Yeah.
Right. It's not heading toward you. Not heading in your direction. It is moving in the same direction that you are moving.
Right. So I should catch up to it once I'm in range.
Right, and that's my question to you. Do you want to go in front, behind? Do you
Let's
want to
go behind because we
do you want
might
to
be.
go in front, well in front, and then wait for it to pass?
No, I want to go behind. I think sneak up behind it, and then I can get a couple, shots on it. Maybe before it reaches me for melee. Or I guess it has hit its projectile as well, but then I'll be able to see that coming. So yeah, we're gonna try to hurry around the corner, and then.
I mean, there's no hurrying. It is, it is like 150 yards ahead of you.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought it was much further ahead. Then I will circle around and get it within my sights.
You're gonna have to run to circle. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I don't understand now. I'm confused. It's around the bend, 150 yards away, right? So I'm going to circle
yes,
until
but you've got mountainous terrain. You've got a gentle slope with boulders and trees and so.
I'm sorry. You're right. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard not to keep looking at it from a bird's eye view, which is what Alani sees. So
well, and you can see that. You can see a bird's eye view of it. That doesn't help the fact there's still a mountain there,
right, exactly.
and that you've got to really hurry to try to catch up to it.
Right.
And that's not stealthy, and the terrain is not very stealthy.
Right.
Decent terrain for hiding, not decent terrain for sneaking, and certainly not decent terrain for speeding.
I misunderstood. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to do it, I mean, a teleport is one way to do it, or you could just say, you know what, I'm just going to do a brisk walk and let Nalani keep up with it, and just try to be as quiet as you can as you do a brisk walk. Right. I mean, it's fine if it hears you just before you fire.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Let's try that. I think that's a better option than trying to teleport my way in front of it or closer to it. That could go wrong.
Right.
Make more noise. So we will try to catch up with it. And you got to remember my boots. I always read the boots of leave taking. We wrote it down here. Where is it? Leave taking. Because I know they produce certain leave taking. And Stockhide make all running footfalls do not make noise. So right, if my arm brushes something, it'll still make a sound. Yeah.
Right. So it's not a bad thing if you do want to. Yeah, if you want to go at a run, then with that.
Yeah.
The thing is, your items still jingle, and so on.
Right. So it gives me a small bonus, but not. Yeah, it's not like I'm.
Right. It's not perfect.
Right. So then, we will go at just a kind of a light, a fast walk.
Okay.
Not produce too much noise. Try to close the distance between it.
Gradually making it through the bend. To say a bend is sort of too simple of a word. It's following the natural contours of the mountain.
Yeah.
Nalani and the creature are now within sight of the statues and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You're realizing this is going to take several minutes to catch up to it. You're not making the progress you want to make. You're gaining several feet every second, but it's going to be probably further down the slope. It's actually going to be. I guess it's going to start heading down that. It'll eventually intersect that road that goes down the mountain and things like that. At which point you would expect it to turn around.
Yeah, interesting.
Which is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Because you could just sit and wait for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, depending on my patience, I could just set up, right here and.
Right. That's true. Your patience thing is a pain in the butt. So it occurs to you at this point, you could, because you now sort of know where it is, if you make it to the drive that leads up to the manor, which you expect to hit fairly soon, you could then go for a run because then you'd have the open level grass of the yards.
Okay. Right.
And then you could try to circle around in front of it at a run through level grass. You got to watch.
I see. I see what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah. So go back up to that first road that I took all that long time back on my horse.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the one you took down, in fact, because you came up. Right. Yeah.
From the manor. Yeah.
So you hit that fairly soon. All right, roll to run.
Okay.
While you're running, what do you want in your hands?
I'm gonna have my just my shield in my hands, have the spear on my back, so I can easier to maneuver.
Yeah.
So 81.
Roll for me.
1.
A 1?
Yes.
Roll again and subtract it.
Okay, minus 13.
You're proud of yourself for this plan. So proud.
Oh, yes. Nothing. It's foolproof. Yeah, rolling a 1 was to see how many mistakes were in my.
Right.
The chance of something going wrong. Okay, take a roll back up.
Yours.
I am out of sight mostly of the guest houses, right? I'm kind of running.
You can see them, but and things that would be in the windows of the easternmost house could see you.
Right.
But that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're hauling butt. Roll again.
41.
Decent distance. Now is the trickiest part of the plan, which is working your way down the slope ahead of the construct.
Yes. So we'll just have to pick my way kind of down.
All right. So it is remaining within sight of. It's approaching the statue areas, and you are well past the statues now. You're sort of at the edge, the far edge of the yard, sort of the beginning of the yard. Remember, they had that kind of half wall around the property at that edge.
Yeah.
And so you throw a leg over the wall and begin scooting down. There are treetops here clinging to the slope, that's going to be in your way from firing. And so you're trying to get, you'd like an elevated shot, but one that you can actually see from.
Right, it's clear.
You work your way down, and you pause at a moment thinking that you missed something in the yard. And what you realized is that just running and being really focused, you hopped over a new slime trail.
Ooh, okay.
Which complicates things, but doesn't make things impossible.
Yeah, I already noticed a few other new slime trails, so it could have been connecting to that one. That was on the west side. This was on the east side. So.
Right.
Okay. Good to note.
You find a really good place to hide. How do you wish to set up?
Well, so I definitely want to try a. Is it good for a Ebola shot or no? A little
It
too.
depends. So if you wait
Like a
long enough, it'll
time.
be
Yeah.
good for a Ebola shot.
Well, I'm saying is it do I have enough space around me to swing it? Because if so, then I'll try. Because I want to hit it with like channeling first, and then going for a Ebola shot afterwards. Try to
You
do those two.
move to the first spot you found, you're like, it's okay. I might snag it on some of this stuff,
Yeah.
but those two spots over there are even better. So
Okay.
you just, saddle your way over there. You've got plenty of cover. It's just a large, sort of rounded rock that you can hide behind that, of course,
Right.
prevent any vegetation from really cropping up such that it can snag
Yeah.
your lines on your bola. Um, obviously the most advantageous thing would be to make your way around the rock and let it pass and hit it from behind.
Right.
And so you sort of are in a waiting position, and I say we take a break at this
Yeah.
cliffhanger moment, and then we'll go stretch our legs and get drinks. And
Sounds good.
can you move it slasher movie killer speed? Quinn says. I don't know of any other way for him to move. You know what I mean? That's so. Yeah, guys, just wait. Give us a bit. Go stretch your own legs. We're gonna do the same, and we'll be right back, and we'll see what he's gonna do about this construct. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll be right back after a few minutes. Well, hello. I'm back. I've decided the whole stream is better without Max. I'm kidding. I, hey, everybody, welcome back, Max. Uh,
It's good to be back. It's not like someone has complete authority whether I appear or not on this.
that's right. And abusive authority, we might add.
You can't
Um,
stop me from commenting in the YouTube.
that's right.
It sucks.
Um, where's my chart for combat? So
Well,
yeah,
you take it on one hit. No need to break out the charts there, Kevin.
yeah, I think you've got this covered, really.
So
Uh,
yeah, I'm gonna have my spear down at my side and on the ground, and shield in one hand and bola ready to go. I guess shield and bola because I'm left-handed. So
Well, I mean, you've got cover. I wouldn't worry about your shield.
okay,
Uh,
okay,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you
I'll
can.
try to duck instead of
Well, you're always going to be ducking, right? But
right.
I mean, the rules regarding it. I mean, I don't like to get into rules very much, but the your advantage is you'll rise and fire and crouch back down, and it's going to be very hard to hit you from that.
Yes.
You're going to have to decide when to. Um, you have to decide when to let fly with the bola, so that do you want to hit such that then you have enough time when it charges you to hit again. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, my thought is to hit it with the channeling, and then prepare the bola and throw it. Whether it charges at me or tries to stand its ground and it fire its weapon. Hopefully we get two. One surprise hit and then another. With the bola.
Right. And it does have to make it up the slope, which is going to be less encumbered than you are going up, because it's not worried about falling. It's not worried about like tripping and hurting itself and things like that.
Right.
Whereas we have natural hesitancies toward that. So, what do you want Nalani to do during combat?
Have her stay out of the way for now. Actually, stay up here so she can spot if anything maybe is attracted by the noise.
So you may want to send her higher up, right? Because otherwise she'll be, if she's
True, yeah. Good
on
idea.
you.
We'll have her. I keep forgetting she can I keep thinking if I'm not telling her to do something, she's just staying still. I'm like, what if she falls out of the sky? It's like, no, she'll just circle overhead, look for anything that's
right. But keep low to the trees.
Exactly. Make yourself visible.
Yeah, because you don't want to attract any other biggity boos that are in the area.
Mm-hmm. That is a creature from Karandrin, a biggity boo.
The boogity boo. Maybe that's what was eating the damn troll. I mean, the ogre. I don't know.
I never understood that. Bugbears. That's like an old term, right? And then we just started using that. There's some bugbears in D&D. It's like an actual monster.
Yeah, but I mean,
European term, right?
Well, it's like kobolds. It's like fairies.
Yeah,
it's like goblins, which basically means any sort of trouble you have.
Right.
Any sort of unexplained phenomenon you have. I think you and I have talked about the origin of kobold, right? Being
right.
Literally cobalt, the metal, being these lumps of, and it's being these lumps of things that wouldn't melt in the forges.
Right.
And then German medieval times, they wouldn't melt in the forges, and it was, the notion was that that's because these fairies, these spirits were messing with you, basically.
Right.
And that's sort of what all those words mean,
Right.
It means basically unknown force, really, is what it means.
I've always thought of bugbear more of kind of a spooky thing. I don't know if that's because Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, funny.
I don't know what caused that, but I always think of
Hey, is Nightmare Before Christmas that movie about nothing? Oh yeah, it is.
I know you don't like that movie.
I remember
Our small viewership is going to be infuriated now.
they can be infuriated while they simultaneously get better taste. That's fine with me. I don't mind that.
It's Jack
A
Skellington.
movie, I enjoyed the visuals, but I swear to God, like, came to the end of the movie and I was like, well, that was time. Is
To
what
be
that
fair,
was.
I can't remember the plot either of that movie.
I,
I remember many scenes, but I don't remember how they connect together.
I could not figure that, John. I couldn't tell you what his objective was. I couldn't tell you at the end of the movie if he met that objective. I couldn't tell you if there was a good guy. I couldn't tell you if there was a bad guy. There were definitely things, though. And that's what really matters is a movie.
Very claymation things.
Were they claymation or were they stop action?
I think it was stop motion. I think mixed media, right?
Stop motion, right.
Other material.
Yeah, we're talking about killing the tension here. Where the hell is my? All right, well,
Talking about movies and looking for
tough shit.
tables and
So you're starting with which attack are you starting with?
channeling.
You're gonna channeling.
Actually, you know what? Never mind that. Right? Wouldn't it be smarter to throw the bola, try to entangle it? Then I'd have a better. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna start with the bola then. And the bola takes more time anyway to kind of get ready. And
well, the other is a sort of mental concentration, also, right?
right. I can concentrate while it's coming towards me, rather than I don't know. It seems easier to launch a channeling than it does to do a bola shot.
Right. Oh, you're right, Obi-Wan. Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Studio Leica is the studio. They also do Coraline, and they did a recent one. I forgot what it was called. They did a few others.
The Last Dragon thing?
No, that was a different studio entirely. I think that
Okay.
was a new animation studio from China, actually,
Okay.
which is kind of going toe to toe with Disney. There's a big deal about that. Disney's not the only kind of giant anymore that makes those quality movies.
Right. All right, sir. Your bola
Yeah.
plus
ready.
10.
I'm swinging. I think so. Let me double check. Bowl of Summons. Right.
Or did you leave that one? But no, you do have all your stuff now, right?
Yeah, no, I have all my bolas in my belt.
Right. I was thinking you were using your
Bowl of Summons is plus 20 rune.
Okay. Plus 20. This is the violence of an ambush attack, which is never great. Never great.
I'm off my notes here.
All righty. Roll it up, sir.
All right. Coming into view. Got the bola ready and toss it with a 40. Try to hit this thing.
Not a bad shot given what you're having to deal with. Flies through the air like it just don't care. Sure enough, it snares an arm, wraps around. You can choose to leave it there instead of having it come back to you, of course. If you have it come back to you, then that arm's going to be free. And roll for me.
47.
That is definitely its
That's what I was
main
going to
weapon.
ask. That's the main. Okay. Then I think we'll keep it there. And next thing I'm going to do is try to prepare a channeling as it tries to come towards me. Channeling attack.
It is apparently very good at detecting where attacks come from. It turns. It is.
It downloads some new software since the last time we met. It's
That's right. It's
learned my attack patterns. That would be
It's
a funny idea for a construct, right? It's like the more you battle it, it just slowly starts gaining advantage. Like, oh, now it is a +1. Now it is a plus like 2.
well, I mean, what
That'd
I
be
think
interesting.
is sort of the more realistic the realistic concept would be that basically as alchemy improves, the constructs could be rebuilt to be, literally deconstructed and then reconstructed with better combat instincts, with better combat
Right,
skills. You
right,
know,
right.
so take a cool beverage while your life is in jeopardy.
Oh, yeah, come on, yeah,
You duck down, worrying that it would. You're still within sight, so that you could
right.
fire. But it is scanning the hillside and approaching, but it has not spotted you. I
Okay,
rolled a -49.
hell yeah.
So
Then we will
roll initiative is what we're going to do. Actually,
roll
wait.
it.
Tell me what you're going to do.
I'm going to. Can I, if it's inside, can I prepare channeling and then kind of leap out and shoot it?
Well, look. I mean, you're under cover. You can fire from cover.
Sure. Okay. I still have a clear line. Okay.
It's just that you obviously have to have line of sight to it.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
but you're
So
still
I'm
be under.
going to hide and start focusing so I can get a better shot on it.
If you want a better shot, that's just aiming.
So that's what I mean. I always forget what it's called. I'm going to
Right.
aim.
So, like when you
Take my
cast
time to aim.
if you cast a spell that doesn't have a target, right? Then you can just sort of be concentrating, focusing on the spell, rehearsing the spell essentially.
Right.
That gives you a bonus for just not fumbling. It actually reduces your fumble every
Right.
round to a certain max. Aiming is the same thing, but it's obviously line of sight, just like with a gun, with a bow, anything like that. But it's line of sight. So you've got to be peeked over. He has a chance of seeing you. It has a chance of seeing you. I don't want to offend a fictional construct, non-gendered entities.
Not only is it fictional, but it also doesn't have a mind.
That's right. It's not doesn't have a mind, doesn't have doesn't have feelings, doesn't exist, doesn't have a voice or any
Yeah,
political.
someone's going to come after you and say you misgendered the construct.
Right, which is a shame because I enjoy people coming after me. But
What are we doing again? Okay, I'm aiming, right?
so you're right.
What confuses me is because channeling is also magic. So I think of like one focus. No, I'm aiming with this projectile
Right.
magical force. Divine force, whatever you call it.
Yeah, it really is channeling the will of the gods, and that's why it's called channeling.
So I'm just going to aim at it, ready.
Right. So you're not going to have much time to aim. It begins moving to cover, knowing that it's under, that it's under missile fire. It knows to take cover. It has very good cover on the near side of the road to you. You can fire before it hits that cover, and you're going to have to because you're going to lose it in the cover.
That's what I'm going to do then.
All right. Roll it up.
Here we go. Oh, how many PowerPoints am I put into this thing?
Yeah, it's in units of 4.
Yeah, right. Here's an interesting thing. So I have my spectacles of attainment are a PowerPoint store. Can I expend that for channeling, or is that only for magic?
You can expend it for channeling, yes, but it has to be from one source or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's dump 20 into this because I know this thing is really hard to take out. So if we just get one good hit on it with this.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, do it.
Come on, Astalon. That's 49. Right down the middle.
Not terrific. But definitely a hit on the shoulder, knocks it back a step. It sees you. It enters cover. This is going to be an interesting shooting game.
Yeah.
This is going to be really interesting. It lets fly with a bolt.
Wait, but I thought its arm was right. Its bolt arm.
Its
Or is it
off
the other?
arm, its off arm is the missile
Oh,
weapon.
I see. So what weapon was it holding then in its weapon arm?
It didn't. The weapon it typically wielded against you was it had a sword.
Right.
So that is the weapon arm that you have. That's its good arm, if you will.
Right. And that has the sword in their hand.
No, it's actually still at their waist.
Oh, I see. So they actually have like a scabbard and everything.
Right.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
so
All
it,
right.
it basically probably to make people feel better, right? Where you don't just have these things stalking
Right. Just walking around. Yeah, that's true.
you.
Yeah. Kind of
Um,
make it to imitate. Yeah.
right. It clatters off the rock. I mean, it was a decent shot, but it has to be a hell of a shot to hit you.
Right.
This boulder is it's long and low, and it's basically only got your head to aim at, and that's not a lot to aim at. It is now in cover. You figure you'll have some advantage, of course, because you have Nalani who can spot it for you and can help you position. But you also know this thing is going to be relentless. I needed to look up that roll. I forgot to look it up. That's not it. Roll for no. Actually, tell me what you're going to do, and then
So how far away then did it entered cover? Right. What was that like?
it's about 100 feet away.
Okay.
That's as far as you felt comfortable throwing the bola.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I could switch back to Nalani, see if there's a. Well, I mean, I guess I would try to find where there's another line of sight, right, where I could fire at it. Another channeling shot.
I don't know. That depends. Anytime you break from cover, gives it an opportunity to fire.
Right. The other thing, I could just hide and then try to get another. Wait
Yeah,
for
I
it
mean,
to emerge. Yeah.
this could be a lot of sneaking. I mean, obviously Nalani is your best advantage here. She
Right.
needs just to find a perch and watch things, and you need to concentrate on her and decide your next move.
Let's
So
do
you
that.
make-
So let's just have her, come into the trees and try to spot it, see what it's doing, where it's heading.
Find a vantage point. Now, action-wise, what do you want in your hands now?
I'm going to pick up my spear and shield. So.
You want your spear in your hand? Or you want
Yes, I guess. Just in case. I mean, no, it's still 100 feet away, so it's still a distance. So we'll just have shield out for now.
Okay. Do you have another bola you want to put in your hands?
I do. Yeah, good idea. That would be. Yeah. I have another. What's my next bola? Else? Plus 10 bola.
Okay. So plus 10 bola in your hand.
Yep.
All right. Nalani finds a perch. Wow. Double aught for finding the construct.
She lands on the construct. Oops. Too good.
Wow. And a crazy deft move. This thing is just anathema to you. It shrugs the bola further down, and it falls to its wrist, and in one little smooth move, it draws its sword and slices your bola of summoning.
Oh, damn.
It's I mean, you don't know its condition. I'd put several big question marks by that.
Right.
It is free, and then it tries to find you. Now you're faced with a difficult choice. The problem is you can see it through her.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it from your vantage point.
Right.
So, yes, you can maneuver closer to it, but you don't know if you have line of fire unless you stick your head up.
Right. So I think what I'm going to try to do then is hide. So see the direction it's coming in, infer that and hide so then I can get a shot at it when it
You're
emerges.
trying to sort of deliberately let it sort of pass in a range of fire for you, in a
Yes,
line
exactly.
of fire for you.
Yeah.
All right, that's your action. What's it going to do? I think we all know what it's going to do. So, but again, I don't know how you're going to know. I guess you're just going to have to guess.
Yeah.
It begins moving. It's keeping to cover and looking. It's not very subtle about it. Are you only going to look through Nilani?
Well, no, I would switch back, right? It only takes like a second, right? Just to
Right. You're going to switch back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
If you give up the higher ground, then you might have a shot going up as it works its way closer to your last location.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Roll the stalk. Sneaky.
25 for sneakies.
Now Karth says, "My lord, do not forget to use me."
I know Nalkarth. I was okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a bad idea actually. Instead of channeling, maybe I'll pull him off, and even if it's a glancing hit, I still get those, those criticals. It's might do more,
right?
Harm it more. So obviously, I'll get in position first, and then kind of take him off, and
okay.
So I don't have to sneak with him in my hand.
You made more noise than you thought. The creature stops and looks in the direction that you are. Oh, wow. It rolled a double ought to find you.
Oh, damn.
This is interesting. So there's a change weapon penalty in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, when you decide to switch up your attack and you switch hands, anything like that, right? And there's a penalty. Do I give that penalty to constructs?
Yeah, absolutely. You should triple it, actually.
Now that you say that, I feel bad for even bringing up the question. Like, I feel like a dummy. Jeez. I mean, you're still undercover.
Oh, my gosh.
The fact that it spotted you doesn't mean that you're not partially shielded. At the moment it spots you, or the moment it fires. This is kind of interesting. This is like an Old West shootout where you guys are darting from saloon to barn and firing at each other. And you're just looking for opportunities.
I wish the screen was wider so I could, show that I'm like doing this, with my hands. Like,
exactly. Oh man, it's gonna be tough to hit you, but it's gonna give it a go.
Give it a go. Give it a go. Does it fire bolts? Right?
It does fire bolts.
It'll run out eventually.
That's true. I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, I guess he will run out of PowerPoints eventually. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing, right?
Yeah. It's weird.
Shot glances off another rock that's in front of you. You're like, dang it, he used my strategy. He found an open avenue of shooting.
Right.
He has not bothered to take cover. You get in your position. It's a difficult shot, but it is a shot worth taking.
We'll try pull out Nalkarth and
bazap
a shadow arrow at this creature. Oops. Nice.
Man, you guys are using like 3 different types of missile
weapons.
And so I'm like flipping from chart to chart.
This is what I was trying to do.
You're trying to exhaust me, is what you're trying
to do.
110, man, a ton of freaking penalties and bonuses. Oh, my Lord. It's so ridiculous. All right. It's a tough shot, but go for it.
Okay. Boom. 100.
Roll again and add it.
Woo! That's what I needed. Plus 20.
Oh, that's funny.
Whew. No card.
All right, time to roll some criticals. Roll your first. This is just the actual missile critical. Oh wait, it doesn't really have a missile critical. It just has the ice criticals. But still, all right.
Well,
Roll
96 for whatever he wanted me to roll.
96. That is fine with me. Man, that's
Okay.
crazy. Shooting, dodging.
Wow. Some good rolls today. Jeez. It's like the third 90, above 95 I rolled.
Right. The side of the face.
Oh, nice.
It twists the head off. You see frost just spray.
Woo.
It spins and falls face down.
Damn.
Wow, what a shot. You had
tricky shot too. Wow.
you had a negative 20 to that roll.
Oh my gosh.
Then you double audited it.
Yes.
And then you roll the 96 for the critical.
That's Rollmaster in a nutshell.
I love, missile combat in Rollmaster feels so real. Like you do not mess around with it.
There's a miss. Oh, there's a 100. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Well, and especially missile fire is so obviously the easy answer to it is cover. But if you forget to take cover, if you just there's no like in D&D, I'll just brazen it out, right? Because I know I've got 20 hit points.
Right.
An arrow's going to do 1d6. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. You do not mess around. It can sever an artery. It can. We lost so many characters before we realized. Okay, before this dumb game master realized that characters can't charge into that stuff.
No. Let me catch up on my notes here. So sneak around, intercept it.
So that is one construct down, and so that's one patrol taken care of. You've not seen evidence of other patrols. This is definitely the one that you dealt with earlier that destroyed another magic item of yours.
Right.
Cut the top of a spear off way back a number of sessions ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So I will go over and approach the thing, poke at it, see what damage is.
So
I know I've investigated one before that's destroyed.
That was destroyed by something. It was apparently the rear guard to the main manor.
Right.
And something went ahead and took it out, and that's what allowed habitation of that one, which does raise the question if there's anything in the other manors. So you go up there. It's got a plus 15 craft broadsword. And it is, you can just free that from the hand with some effort. Nalani, you have her return to your shoulder, or at least return nearby. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. It was cool.
It only had one close shot at you, or it rolled a decent number, but it's just popping shots and and
that's what's great about having a familiar. You can just set up the perfect ambush.
It's super helpful. That's the main thing in Rollmaster. I guess any game, but Rollmaster is so complex, the information really matters. You know.
Yeah.
Especially
like you said, like the missile damage. I remember playing D&D, and I'm like, "You want to ambush the guy?" I'm like, "No, I'll just do 1d6 arrow, and then they'll be charging at me." The guy with the sword doesn't make me. But Rollmaster, it's kind of flipped. It's like every attack matters.
Oh, it really.
It's possible to be, as far away from you as possible.
Yeah, and by the same token, it actually makes game mastering a lot harder because you really can't put too much against your opponents. Especially, you can't put too many attacks against your sorry, not your opponents, your players. You
Right.
can't put too many attacks against your players because they will wind up getting um, um, no one they won't survive. They will just take some, which is exactly
Right.
realistic. I mean, it's just
Right. Right.
it
Right.
really is a lottery of death. You know,
Mhm.
where
I like Quinn's comment right there. Is Lord of the Rings was written with roll master rules. What a plot.
so that's good.
Very
Oh, I see.
true.
Because they're just middle. I'm thinking Merp when he says Lord of the Rings. I'm thinking Middle Earth role playing, but of course he
No,
means
no, no. Yeah.
the actual
The
story, right?
actual Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true. It's a little more of an optimistic story. Maybe these hobbits can make it to Mordor and not take a bunch of criticals.
right. Well, that was the argument in D&D for using deliberately not using systemic damage to the body was that they
Right.
wanted it to be heroic. And my argument is, if that's true, you would have given systemic damage to the creatures.
Right.
Otherwise, the villains are also heroic,
Right. Exactly.
which doesn't make sense. But I loathe the lack of criticals in a game because your players, as I wrote one of the articles on Karandrin, .com, you get the robots. You just get people who go, oh, okay, I know I can take 4 arrows in me before I get to him, and then I can hack him. They just do the
Right.
math. And
Right.
Rollmaster, you cannot do the math. Forget it. Um,
So, all right, yeah, I snatch up that broadsword, slip into my bag of holding, and careful not to tear the bag of holding.
I use put in
And
this. You just use a scabbard. It's fine.
yeah, oh, that's right, yeah. And yeah, okay, so that is done. Oh God, I remember I was going to do something and I forgot. I think what I'm going to do the rest of the day is probably chill out. So we're going to go back to my campsite, and so I'm supposed to meet Faramar later around sunset, the arranged time.
Right.
So
Well, it
we're
does
going to.
give you several more hours.
Right, but I don't know. After this kind of victory, I'm like, let's leave it on a high note. Why don't we just go
That's hilarious. That's
and
hilarious. I,
relax a bit?
I will throw out. Is it time to try to hunt down this other half maggot being? Um,
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that's true. I do have enough time to do that. Um,
um,
these things do seem to good at catching me off guard.
yeah, I mean, you could have been in a very strange position of being on a two-sided battle.
Right, true.
Where and in
Yeah,
fact, it occurs to you because even the you know your spells make noise, your his crossbow makes noise, these shots hitting off rocks make noise. Maybe after you grab the short sword, you just sort of lay low and listen for a while.
right.
Um,
One thing I forgot: does channeling consume exhaustion as
it
well?
does. It
Okay,
does.
I
I
probably wouldn't
never.
have used 20 then. I forgot about that, but that's
That's
okay.
right.
I was going all out, so I will. Yeah, let's just listen for a bit, see what I can hear.
There is definitely something you hear, something that you can't place a position of it either, a direction, I should say. So the question becomes: do you send Nalani up to search?
Um, Let me see one sec. Yeah, let's have Nalani go up there. Her sharper senses, her keener senses, I should say. We never use the term like blunter senses. I have very blunt senses. Thank you.
That's
Sorry, what was
hilarious.
that?
I have blunt senses and I also have a blunt tongue. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
she has no luck finding anything she's doing kind of the low circle. She's got to go a little bit higher to get any vantage. But again, she has the disadvantage of the bird's eye view in as much as in a heavily treed area, spottily treed area, it's difficult to find. And if something is hiding or just taking rest in the shade, um, it's going to take a closer examination for her to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, you don't want whatever that. I mean, I guess that's what we ought to call it, the ogre eater.
Right.
Wait, isn't that a food product? Anyway, those are odor eaters. My bad. Let's call him Dr. Scholl's. That's who that creature is. It's the Dr. Scholl's ogre eater. Man, I want to do something like that.
Oh my god! Yeah, diet of ogres is great for the feet, actually.
That's right. So circles, comes back. When it gets too far out or she starts going up, you're like having to rein her in. Like, no, you can't do that. You're in danger. You're in danger.
Okay, well then, so you're saying I heard something, but I just don't know where it's coming from.
Right. And part of it is, you got the wind off the mountain. And so it's when that dies down, you hear it, but it's so faint that you can't make it out. Sounds like maybe a rustling, something moving along the ground being drug.
Okay. We can. So if I don't know where direction is, I'm just going to start to move back toward the manor, toward where I saw those fresh slime trails on the western side.
Okay, so you're going to cross the whole estate.
Yes.
Okay.
And if I hear the noise, maybe I can place it then. With another.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're always going to be stopping, and I'll have you stopping, like kneeling in the waist high grass and listening, and
yeah. In fact, why don't we just do an ears of the hare? I'll cast an ears of the hare on, try to get some better hearing.
Is that casting or is that?
That is from a tome.
So, okay, I got to know for purposes of fumble.
Yep.
Tomes are a lot easier to cast, as they're meant to be a lot easier to cast, but they also are 20-pound books that take both hands to use, so they're not the most practical. All right. Roll to use the tome.
Ears of the hare. 39.
Decent. Costs you 12 exhaustion. Not your best reading of a tome.
So it's a level 8 and it cost me an extra 4. Okay.
Right. All right. You're up. We had you move some, so we'll put you basically up at the edge of the yard itself, crouched down on the slope side of the half wall.
Right.
Okay. And that way you can kind of peek over and then just kind of lay down. You cast from the tome, close up the tome, and start listening. It is downslope from you, with your back to the manor. Let me think about that. That's north, so it'd be to your south. So to your right, quite a distance. When the yard ends, of course, and the trees just pick back up.
I just remembered. Continue.
Yes. Go ahead.
I need to check on my bola that was snapped. That's what I remembered earlier. I'm like, I got to do that before I do anything else. So.
Okay. So we'll have you do that. It's going to be in that direction anyway, although a little more sharply downhill.
Right. I didn't leave the area, though.
You're definitely going to have an Alani try to help you find that, though. I mean, there's rocks, brush. I mean.
Or detect magic. There you go. Well, if it's still magical.
If it's still magical, but you're right.
Yeah. Damn.
You send Nalani quickly to do that errand.
Yeah.
She does not have luck.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, that's great. I've got 2, 3 sort of dark round iron balls, right? Among rocks. Terrific.
Right.
No luck. And you can have her keep searching. but you're worried about her being in danger.
Yeah, no, let's keep her close. And
Right.
well, actually, just to, I guess, a question here: do I ever know if bolas can be repaired?
Magic, like
Right, because it's like a
the ru-
metal like string, right? It's
right, it's wire.
right.
Yeah.
So
The rules governing when an enchantment breaks and when an enchantment doesn't break, I mean, that's a very advanced question.
right,
So, I
exactly.
mean, obviously, the thing would be if you could have recovered it, just bring it to a magic shop and ask their opinion. Um, but not being able to find it, it's kind of moot.
Right.
Uh,
So you know what I'll do? We'll investigate this, and if I don't find it, then we'll spend the majority of the day trying to find it, just in case it is worth it. But
that was a hell of an item.
yeah,
I mean, it was
really
very
good.
useful.
It gave me out of a lot of binds. Got me out of a lot of binds by
Yeah,
putting opponents in binds.
in binds. That was a fun grapple attack, wasn't it? Bound its arm.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
stuck
that's
there for
cool.
2 rounds. It couldn't do anything. It was
Right,
working its way free, and then it got a really high roll working it out.
right.
Um, so, do you want to send Nalani toward the noise, or are you moving toward the noise, or both?
I'm moving towards the noise now.
All
Do I
right,
hear anything more specific with the ears of the hair? Like, can I make out this? Just rustling.
roll for me.
29.
You do hear something. Um, it's like a rubbing noise, different in the sound of something
Ew. I don't want to go.
something moving along the ground. Um,
Oh my gosh. Okay. Then we'll have spear and shield and kind of creep towards the sound.
well, since you know it's distant, I'm surprised you got the spear in hand.
Oh, that's right. It was distant. Right. Then, yeah, we'll take out Nalkart then instead.
Okay.
Have him kind of ready so I can quickly fire, come across it.
He says to you, just like you knew it already. Ah, hunting a Delvane again. It has been a long time since I've killed a maggot folk. And you're like, you knew what this was?
Okay.
Why don't you share?
Yeah.
So,
I ask him, it's like, I hadn't even thought of his perception. It's like, do you know, can you hear it too? Like, know where it is? I'm catching a faint sound of it, but
mountain winds are pain, even for my kind. But I recognize its body moving across the ground. There are whole colonies of the Delvane in my world.
oh, weird. Okay.
And while hardly intelligent or civilized, they still make formidable foes, unnatural and sickening as they are. All right, roll 2 sneaky sneak.
So does that mean? Well, now he's got me interested. I guess could that imply that they are originally from his world or another world? And
Well, I mean, you know the options, right? They
right,
exist in two
wander
worlds. They
through a
have to be
portal and
from this one, or another.
right. No,
Right,
that's all I'm trying to say is that's new to me. That right, a creature could go into another world, reproduce, and then like,
right,
colonize it. And
right.
demons, I guess, are the same way, right?
Roll for me.
Take over certain worlds. 34.
So certainly, with you've met enough powerful beings now that you know if they're traveling back and forth, if they're creating portals, if they create a portal and leave it open, say for a day, for their own uses, who knows what can pass unbeknownst to them through the portal.
Right. Right.
And so it's kind of this weird sort of thing for you of like, how irresponsible for
Right.
these,
Right.
like sort of these powerful beings. And the Suns, they probably did it deliberately in the
Yeah.
sense that, hey, I have enslaved some of these creatures, certainly the intelligent creatures, right?
Mhm.
You're like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, I brought an army of ogres, 30, 40, 50 ogres with me that I had to deal with, right? I
Right.
pay them a wage and they
Mhm.
fear me enough that the wage is enough.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, they get slain in another world, and those 40 or 50 ogres now just wreak havoc on that world.
Right. Right. They're just
Like,
there now. Yeah.
and
That's
you're
I
like,
never thought about that. It's really fascinating.
yeah, that was one of my assumptions. I mean, years ago, 30 years ago, when I was thinking about how is it these things move across. I'm like, well, they can't do
Right.
it on their own power unless they can, in which case it's irrelevant, right? I mean, they always had
Right.
that ability. But otherwise, it's intelligent beings doing it accidentally or doing it on purpose. Those are your only two options.
Interesting.
Um, and so you get these otherworldly creatures, ogres that we take for granted, right? In other games like orcs and trolls and goblins might be versions of these sort of things, where they're continually hostile. Where obviously mine are not. Yeah, they could make their way to these other worlds by the bidding of more powerful masters,
Right.
and then when those plans fall apart, those worlds are left with that blight, and they're allowed to
Little
populate.
do the ogres know, they come into a world that there's like super ogres. They're like, oh,
Well,
now I'm the human in the world of ogres.
an ogre eater, as an example,
World of ogre eaters.
right?
Oh no! What a
Uh,
terrible place to
ha
stumble upon.
ha! I'm a village-sized creature. Oh God, these are city-sized creatures. Son of a bitch!
Exactly.
Why
Oh,
did that guy bring me here?
funny. Anyway,
Um,
right. So I gotta say, well, then we'll have an easy time slaying this one if you're so familiar with that.
you know of their seeking orbs, yes, and to
Yes,
hide from them.
I do. I see through them.
They're illegal to own in my nations. And all the lands that I know of, they were illegal. Yet still powerful spellcasters sought them.
Hmm.
Disgusting, unholy. And you know they can sprout a fume. You must be careful of the fume and of the sticky substance they leave in the trails.
Yes, yes. The sticky, the fume, the orb. Got it. It's old news and all kind. It's like a really and watch out for like yes I know okay got it but make
And
sure
you you know that every time you kill one, they sprout 6 dragons.
what
Right? You do that, right? Oh, Mr. Know-it-all.
and then he says and watch out I'm like just shut up and he's like for the one behind you you should have started off with that.
You're like, he says, like, I've never seen it. You're like, shut up. A colony of them so close. What? Sweet
One's so
bearded
big.
Christ. That's,
Right behind you.
I've never seen one towering. What? Thought it was a tree.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I will. Yeah, listen to his advice and I creep towards it continuously.
All right, roll to sneak.
71.
You're
It's
at
really
the
funny
edge.
because Nalkarth told me that, about being like sneaking is like not really the purpose of him. So now I kind of Max at least feels a kind of like every time I'm sneaking with him, I'm like I kind of feel like I'm dishonoring him a bit, but it's just I guess that's just the way it is in our world,
Right. I mean,
what I'm familiar with.
right. I mean, he's going to have to deal with his own cultural hangups at a later date.
Exactly, yeah, but it
You
just
know.
feels weird, sensitive. Okay.
It is now moving direction. It is moving back into the estate through the woods. Distance is still very. You're not used to doing range with these elven. There's a hare's ears.
Yeah.
ears of the hare. Um,
Hairy ears.
that's it. You're now at the edge of the woods. You've got Nowkarth drawn, is that right?
Mhm.
Or not drawn? No point walking
In
around
my
with it
hands, yeah.
in your hand.
Armed with him.
He suggests you stick to the edge of the woods and skirt the edge of the woods. Um, roll the stalk. Sneaky sneak.
84.
Nice, making good time. You spot it. It's emerged from the grass, into the grass, I should say. It checks around as it emerges. Its eyes pass over you, does not see you.
Okay.
And then it goes lower down on its belly. You lose sight of it
Oh man.
because then the grass is waist
Yeah.
high. Some places a little higher. What do you want to do, buddy?
We'll have Nalkarth drawn and just kind of try to position and get a line of sight of him.
There's no point, no break in that grass that's
Yeah.
going to occur. But if he pops his head up to look, maybe you can just be drawing and.
It probably leaves a trail right in the grass. So what if I get behind it then?
Yes, you can certainly fall
That's
in
what I'm gonna
behind it,
try, Yeah, I'm going to do that.
parallel to it, because you can't walk on that slime.
Right. But hopefully, if I get behind it and it's going in a straight line, I have a clear shot right there.
Right. Roll to stalk hide and make it to the trail.
That's an 8.
Branches snapping. I mean, really not good. Roll for me.
48.
Head pops up, snaps around, beep, finds you in between tree trunks right as you're skirting. Now curses. We've been spotted.
In his language.
That's right. Kraft macaroni and cheese. What the hell?
All right. Well, yeah, I guess then we will try to fire at this thing before it can do anything else.
All right. You're going to try to fire. It's going to try to do its action. Let's roll for initiative and see who does what.
98.
Nice.
Pretty good.
No sight of it. You're going to have to shoot basically blind, but hey, you're not losing arrows.
Oh, did it drop its head back down?
Oh yeah, I mean it's peeking. It's not playing around, but still, it's a free shot. But it may spook it. It may make it chase it off. So I don't know. What's your call there?
Yeah, no, we'll still try to shoot it.
Okay.
16.
No. Shot goes to the grass. You don't hear any cry or anything else. Roll for me.
3.
You're watching. You're undercover. You're up against a tree. Couple trees into the forest. You're just watching and looking. Mm-hmm. None of the grass is moving more than just natural wind. Oh. Would you like to roll the critical you're about to receive?
Yes, please. 78. Damn it.
Oh, that's not good.
I've been rolling low. That'll be great. Okay.
The foul yellow mist comes from behind you,
What?
and you feel like you're on fire.
Oh,
Roll to resist screaming.
94.
You, but you fling now, Karth, and rub your arms.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Um, you're in searing pain for 2 rounds. No attack, spells. All your actions are penalized. So be careful with your choice of spells and things like that. Obviously, you need to get out of this mist. It also means that he can see you to know where to drop that stuff.
Right. Which is just if I recall, Max recalls, right? It comes from their mouth. That's what I've seen.
It at least comes from their mouth.
Right. From what I've
Sounds
seen,
gross.
it comes from their mouth. So this is interesting.
It can come from other places. No, I mean, but right, at least
it dug a hole all the way around, and then yeah.
Of the places that it can emit this noxious gas, the mouth is one. That's
Right.
all you know.
That's all I know.
This is an alarming
Development.
Yes. All right. Let's
Are we
roll
taking damage from that, or?
No. I mean, right now it's just pain without actual structural damage.
Right.
You can tell that your clothes are beginning to get singed.
Okay.
And who knows what effect this is going to have on magical clothes? It just is what it is.
Yeah. Well, then, we'll just dive out of the way.
So you're gonna diving is not. You're not gonna be able to dive out of the way of a cloud this large. You're gonna actually move. So stalk-eyed, if we can manage it, we'll give you a chance to control your movement and stalk-hide as opposed to running in panic.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
So that's your option. You're gonna probably stick to the woods, or do you want to go into the grasslands?
Stick to the woods. Yeah, let's kind of
stick to the woods. You want to go left, right, deeper. What do you want to do?
Let's go deeper. Let's get some distance between us. Kind of recuperate.
Okay. All right. Roll initiative.
25.
All right. Roll for me.
90.
So you turn and run deeper. You glimpse the floating, sickly, pearlish yellow orb in the distance. This guy is knocking that shit out. Roll to control your emotions.
46.
You're barely keeping yourself from panicking, right? Because it's burning so badly.
Right.
Roll to stalk hide.
16.
So not great. I mean, you just make a ton of noise, but you can't be surprised at that. You make it deeper into the woods. Another yellow cloud forms right in front of you, and you walk right into it.
Oh my gosh. What the fuck?
Holy shit. Wow, I haven't ever rolled this critical.
Oh, what's going on? Are you
I
messing
want
around with the microphone?
no, is the mic out? Can you hear me?
No, but I just heard like that.
Oh, weird. Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a 66 crit.
Oh, so I'm dead.
8. So 18 damage.
Okay.
You your roll to resist screaming because this is really painful.
Let me just okay. 35.
Yeah, that's you just scream. You are stunned another 2 rounds. That puts you at 3 rounds of stun. You've already used up 1.
Okay.
You're just going to be in the cloud at the beginning of the next round.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do?
Is this thing knows where I am? We might have to risk a teleport then. Just because it seems like this thing can track where I'm going if I'm making noise.
I mean, you can just, you know what? If you could haul butt, remember, you've got that.
Yeah, I could just run because I was trying to just like sneak away, but let's do that. Let's actually just. This thing apparently knows where I am. I'm just going to run. Let's go south, kind of parallel.
South will put you. Well, that south will head you toward the orb, which may be a good thing. You could try to charge that orb and just grab it and destroy it or whatever.
Let's do that. Yeah, honestly, we'll just run towards it. And see if we can.
Just to remind you, now Karth is laying in the grass.
Right.
Just to remind you.
Yes.
So, have you ever seen a Delvane shoot a very powerful short bow? It's really something to be seen.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's roll initiative.
73.
Okay.
What is the super Dalvane? What did he roll?
No, it's not what he rolled. It's what I forgot to roll. And we're gonna give you a chance to rectify because I don't think there's any way you'd miss it. Oh God! So that first round of Cloud,
Right.
huh? Yeah. Tweet.
Nalani, we didn't say where she was, so yeah.
I mean, you're stalking and hiding. There's no reason for her to be anywhere but with you, near you.
Close by, yeah.
So in that first round,
flown away and
she gets hit by the cloud.
Right.
You feel her pain all the way down her back. It's hard to believe that your own back is not on fire.
Yeah.
She just takes off. But her flight is extremely compromised now. She's having a very hard time remaining stable. She crashes in the grass somewhere at the north end of these woods, the beginning of the yard and the half wall. At least she didn't take that second round. So let's give you your crit. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, dear Lord. good God. I apparently haven't done this type of critical very often because it's really very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God.
I knew I should have stopped after the contra. I'm like, I'll leave it on a high note. And I'm like, Kevin's like, oh, the other Dalvane. I'm like, you know what? I should hunt down the other Dalvane.
8 damage.
Ooh,
I mean, your skin is blistering.
yeah.
Um,
Is this the one that which one is this? Another one?
and this is
8 damage to me or to Milani?
no, to you. Nalani, you're going to have to examine at a later date.
Right. So I ran into a cloud, and now we just
Right.
rolled initiative, and I said, I want to run away. So you're saying...
Yes, but you're going to take, there's no way you're going to make it out of here before
Understood.
you take the,
Okay.
yeah.
Just want to make sure that's what we're talking about.
Right. So you charge. It's I'm gonna have to. You're in so much pain and there's so much going on. I probably need to roll an orientation roll for you every time.
Yeah.
So give me an orientation roll. Just,
30.
all right. I mean, you got some of it. You're holding it together barely, but there's no question now that the Delvane is charging across the grass. Your ears can pick that up. You can just hear grass blades slapping against its body as it's moving into the woods.
Okay. Kind of pursuing me, yeah.
It had been sneaking, and oh my God, it was sneaky. It was rolling open. It rolled open-ended for 2 rounds. I mean, it was so silent. And you were looking right over it, like right. You're scanning, and just with the natural movement of the grass, it was just finding, All right. This is really bad. This is just fucked up. You run, you're knocking things down. You don't care, right? You hear things falling behind you. You charge. Roll for the run, and let's roll for him trying to dodge.
Let's hope I don't go too far from Milani either. I don't want to get... It's 9. Oh!
You strike a tree, spin, catch yourself, keep going. It is no problem for the orb to remain distant from you.
Yeah.
Roll.
24.
It is time, you think, just to hide. Because you can't let it see where you are. You're already on the ground. You've tripped a couple of times. You've not made good distance. You're out of the cloud. You think you've got to hide for right now, and then make new plans next round.
Okay.
Man, I don't want to keep you too late. This is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can try to. Well, actually, it might be a good time to leave it because we won't remember what I rolled to hide, right? So maybe we'll just say I'm about to roll to hide from the Dalvane and its orb.
Do you want to stop right now?
Yeah, and then we'll just leave off. I'm about to try to hide from the.
Yeah, you're basically crawling to cover.
Right.
I'm trying to find some place where between you and the orb, the orb was going further away from you, so no problem. But it can just float anywhere it wants, and so you need to be able to you need to be able to have 100% coverage, basically. Wow. All righty. Well, guys, yeesh. What what a freaking session this was,
I thought I was just going to go back to camp and, wait until, it's time to go back to the keep, but I battle all sorts of crazy monsters.
Right. So we certainly thank you for hanging out with us again. This is certainly one of our more exciting episodes. A little messed up there. So Thanks for hanging out with us. Well, we will be on for next week, episode 64, and we will hopefully get Brise out of this encounter alive. But as always, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We always enjoy the fun we're having in the chat and everything else. If you think we're doing a good job, hey, hop the donor box and send us a little money. Always, you can, please do like and subscribe and tell your friends who like fantasy role playing. If you'd like to see more of Max, and who wouldn't, you can see his own channel on YouTube. You see the short link right there where he discusses the role of video game music and original soundtracks. Thanks as always to Elliot Denovitz for their great art for Brice's character that we use throughout each session. You can find more of Elliot's work at artstation.com/Tortolua. I wrote a novel, A Shore Too Far, that I'm pretty proud of, and I hope you take a look at it, and I hope you enjoy it. And we will be back next week. Hey, Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs this session. Hopefully more ups next session. We will see you next week on, what day is that? The 7th. Stay tuned.
Yes. Man, it's got to be at least this exciting. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody. We will see you next week. We appreciate you always, and take care of yourselves.